This is LibreQuest. My name is Matt. It is the 13th of February 2020, and I have some updates about the podcast. Initially, I made an announcement that I was going to be moving away from the YouTube platform and going to a new platform called brighteon.com. However, there were some issues with the time that it took for files to be processed on the website and other issues as far as very low traffic going through that website. So I thought for the video version for now, I will stick with YouTube, and I have also I've taken the advice of Linux City over on YouTube, and he recommended that I move over to a platform called bittube.tv, which I have also done that. So now the video version will also still remain available on brighteon.com. However, it won't just be strictly brighteon.com, because I did have those issues, which, you know, it happens. And hopefully there will continue to be improvements over on that platform, and that may be an option in the future. So the first articles that I want to get to today are going to be Solus gets Linux kernel 5.5, depreciates NVIDIA 340 legacy driver. This article is from 925linux.com. Article written by Marius Nestor, posted today, February 13. For Valentine's Day, Solus users are getting a bunch of goodies as development team released today several updates to some important core components and apps. Solus follows a rolling release model where the user installs the operating system once and receives updates forever. The latest update pack brings the recently released Linux 5.5 kernel series, which introduces full Raspberry Pi 4 support, cross-device offloaded copy for NFS clients, ButterFS RAID 1 with 3 and 4 copies, and much more. This means better hardware support for your Solus installations. The next article, also from 9to5linux.com, and also written by Marius Nestor, posted today, February 13th. Firefox 73 is now available for all supported Ubuntu releases. The latest Mozilla Firefox 73 web browser has landed in the stable software repositories. All of supported Ubuntu distributions do include, and you can install this update. I kind of botched that a little bit, but that's basically the gist of the article here. So the historical article for the day is from fcw.com. This is written by Rutrell Yasin. It was written in 2003, February 13. In the title of the article, IBM looking to IBM looking to certify Linux. IBM Corp plans to work with the Linux user community to ensure that the operating system achieves increasing security assurance levels throughout this year and 2004. IBM is committed to achieving Common Criteria (CC) security certification of Linux across the IBM eServer platform, according to Dan Fry, director of IBM's Linux Technology Center. So that is a superb article. And of course, all these articles are going to be linked in the notes for the show. So today I'm a bit tired, first off, so I apologize. I'm skipping around on some of the words that I'm saying today, but I wanted to talk about an operating system, an old, no longer supported operating system called DOS 5.0. And this is a box copy. This is actually the empty sleeve that goes over the box if you're watching the video version. But I just wanted to talk about DOS 5.0 and my experience. I did do a bare metal install of DOS 5.0. And in fact, I actually tried to install FreeDOS on the system that I used, and I had issues for some reason. Not really sure what it was. I was actually quite excited about using FreeDOS on the system that I had, and ended up going with DOS 5.0 and had no issues at all. Now, I initially had purchased 2 copies. Let's see if it's still here. Okay, great. I'm not sure how that's going to sound on the audio side of things, but I was getting, in my in-ear monitor here, I was getting some crazy sounding feedback. I actually hit a cable on my sound card and it started making some weird sounds. Anyway, I'm going to keep going through here what we're talking about. This is DOS 5.0. This is the box copy that has not been opened. Now, I initially picked this up because I thought, you know what, I will give that away on a raffle. And that brings me to another announcement. I will not be doing the raffle on the podcast any longer. It wasn't really a popular thing anyway. It was just something that I wanted to do because, you know, it sounded really fun. And but there's too many terms of service out there, and it makes it very, very difficult to do something like a raffle without really either it being completely prohibited, or the necessary steps that you have to take in order to do a raffle on certain platforms are just really not worth the time. So anyway, back to DOS 5.0. I really enjoyed using this operating system on the bare metal. And if you're watching the video version, you're probably thinking, what in the world am I doing? I have a box that's fallen over and I'm trying to set it up. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up, for the video version, the actual DOS operating system, but I'm actually running this in VirtualBox for the video side of things. So the box copy that I have here, for some reason, I don't know if it was possibly a bad sector on the disk or something. I'm not really sure, but I did not get the edit program. Now the edit program is one of my very favorite Microsoft products. Now I don't really care for Microsoft that much anymore, but you know, back in the day, man, edit was something I used constantly. Used it all the time. So basically what edit is just a basic text editor that works in your DOS prompt, and you can bring it up. And the reason that I used it all the time was because I did web development, and now if I was on a Windows machine, I would always use edit as well from the DOS terminal, depending on where I was at the time, if I needed to access something to make changes to a website. And I would use it because I would edit my HTML files, and then I would just bounce back out of there and hop into FTP and update my changes and all that good stuff. So edit is a great program. Now on the box copy, like I said, I didn't have, for some reason, the edit program. It did not install with the 3-disk installation that I got. So I'm not really sure what that was about, but I did end up grabbing a open source version of Pico that ran on DOS 5.0, and I just renamed it to Nano for that install that I have. So now when you type Nano on that install, it opens an open source version of Pico. So let me talk real quick about what comes in the box here. So this will kind of be like basically an unboxing, unboxing podcast today. So you get the Disk Operating System User's Guide and Reference. That is this book here, if you are watching the video version. You also get the installation media, of course, which is 3 very nicely colored blue discs. I really like the color of these discs. I know that's kind of weird, but you know what? Maybe it's not so weird. I like the color of these discs. So if you could see that, those are the installation media. And you've watched the podcast or listened to the podcast before, you know that I love to use magnetic media. Now I'm sitting in a different place than I usually am today for this podcast, so I'm getting distracted easily. The camera's there, and I keep looking at myself. Kind of distracting thing, me looking at me right now. So, it also comes with a service information card, a disk operating system license information. It is not GPL. Disk operating system, keyboards, and code pages. Now this one is really awesome because it comes with a keyboard reference like video games used to come with. These days you get a digital download, and it can be, unless you're using, good old games or something like that. If you're using a service like Steam or those other platforms that are out there that are digital distribution, they can stop supporting them and they just will stop working. And I don't like that so much. Now, Good Old Games is one that you can still buy and have, a copy of that. But that's games just came to mind. So Disk Operating System Getting Started, the Getting Started Guide. That's what came in the box when you got DOS 5.0. Now this version that I'm using for this, we'll call it a review, is something that I actually downloaded off of the internet. And I'm locked into my virtual machine here. It is something that I downloaded off the internet, and it is It's on one of the abandonware sites. So now it did come with edit, which was nice. And it made me wonder why my version did not. But does not really matter, I guess. So I'm going to just take a look through here and see what all this comes with. Now, one thing that I do really like about these versions of DOS is the colors. I really like turquoise. Turquoise just looks really great. Of course, you got the let's see, you have basic blue, you have ocean, a monochrome 2 colors, monochrome 4 colors, reverse. Take a look at reverse. That's kind of cool. All right. We have reverse. We have hot pink. Yeah, that's cool. We also have Emerald City. For me, that's a little too bright. Burns the retinas just a tad. And then we have turquoise, which is my favorite. That's a nice, calming color. Okay, so let me get back into the DOS directory here if I can remember how to navigate with a keyboard. Now, for some reason, the mouse integration is not working on this virtual machine. On the install that I have, the bare metal install that I did of DOS 5.0, there is mouse support. And I'm not sure why the mouse integration isn't working on this. So I'm not really sure. It says DOS 5.0. It may be the difference between... I think the box copy that I have is DOS 5.02. So that could be it, could not be it. I'm not really sure there. So I'm just going to look through here and see what kind of executable files this came with. We have append, a trib, backup, check disk. That is handy, a handy program. Comp. Let's see, we also have debug, DOS shell. Kind of important to have if you have DOS. DOS swap. Edlin. I think Edlin. That is a file name must be specified. Okay. So I tried to open Edlin and it did not work. I think that is a text editor. I think. Not really sure. Let me see if I can check on under file, view file contents. No, I don't see where to look up the. It's possibly under options to find out about what this is. I don't know, but I think it's a text editor. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it is. Actually, you know, if you're listening to the podcast, maybe you can comment and tell me, verify that. Okay, so we have EMM386 executable to binary. Okay, we have expand FC. I'm not sure what FC is. Fast open fdisk. Find format. We have help, join, label, mem. What is this? MLS funky. We got print, Q basic. Okay, what is this? Recover, replace, store, setver, setver.exe, share, sort, substance, subst.exe, unformat, and xcopy, and that's it. Okay, man, that was quite a list there. So the cool thing about this copy of DOS is that there's a link to the command prompt, the editor, QBasic, and the disk utilities. And the disk utilities are the disk copy, backup, restore, format, and etc. Anything you need to manage your disks. But editor, yeah, I was really surprised at this, that you have the editor in here. Yeah, it's very nice though. Anyway, DOS 5.0. I can make a solid recommendation if you want to use DOS 5. DOS 5.0 is a pretty good operating system. Now, you know, I can't really recommend it because it's not free software. But if you have to have a DOS, I think DOS 5.0 works just fine. And I actually installed Word 6 for DOS on the bare metal copy that I have installed. And it was actually a pretty good experience. Okay, now let's move on from DOS here. I'm going to close this out and open up a terminal because I wanted to just quickly talk about I didn't have this set up as a scene, and I should have. here, the video version. Yeah, let me see. Pick that up. No, I can't. Ill prepared for the podcast today. Do apologize. Let's see here. Not sure what I'm doing wrong. You know, sometimes in OBS I have noticed, and that's what I'm using. I'm using OBS 20.0.1, which is an old version. It's like a 2-year-old version, and the reason I'm using it today is because I had issues with the Snap, install, and I'm not really sure what version that is, but it had issues with my dual webcam setup for some reason. And I'm not sure what that reason was, but I ended up just grabbing an app image. Okay, looks like I'm not going to be going over some Linux commands anyway. But that's okay. I just won't do that today. One thing I did want to talk about though is that the system that I'm actually using right now is the old computer. Now I said in a previous podcast that I was going to go over this system and all the components and all that once I had finished it. And I've actually finished it now, but I wanted to actually, along with talking about it on the podcast, I wanted to really show some good video of it. But that is the system, and you can kind of see it in this shot if you're watching the video version. That's the system I'm using right now. It's got the Dell Quiet Key, the compact ball mouse PS2, the powered amplified creative speakers, and the 17-inch CRT display, and of course the old case, but the internals are all rather new, and it's even got the GTX 1030 in there, so we can do some gaming if you wanted to do that. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a night here, and that'll be the end of episode 25. So thank you as always. Thank you for being a listener. I'm a bit tired. I know the episode might have been a little difficult to follow along today, but thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for being a listener, and I will see you next time.